Salute. Peace, peace. What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's going on, y'all? Salute to the members. Salute to the members. Bobby Ramos, Pamela J is in the building. Dirty Kenzo, I see you. What's going on with y'all? Now listen, we did this last time. It kind of, you know, but seems like we got a winner. New president. We got a new president, Trump. We got a new president, Trump. Wait, what's the results? Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. 226 to 295. Look at all the red. Look at all the red. I don't know how many people in here voted. Now, y'all know I ain't voting. I don't really know too much about politics. I don't really care too much for it. You know what I'm saying? Bobby Johnson, salute. So who inside of here voted? If you voted, throw some fire in the chat. If you voted, throw some fire in the chat. Bobby Ramos said, nope, I don't vote. Pamela says she voted. Kenny NYC say he voted Trump. Pamela, what you voted? Did you vote Trump, Pamela? Salute, Kenny NYC in the building. Bobby Johnson say he ain't vote. So who do y'all want to win? Who did y'all want? For those who didn't vote, did you prefer one over the other? Did you prefer Trump over Kamala or vice versa, or you really didn't care? Tell you the truth, me, I ain't even gonna lie. I really didn't care. Me, the reparations, it was no reparations on the table, but also I'll say this, the whole migrant situation, I really don't understand it. Some people say it was Trump or Trump gang in the building. Some people say it was Trump that, is the reason for the migrant situation. Other people say it was Biden. But I'm really kind of confused on that one. There's a lot of things that was confusing during this election. Some people was blaming Trump for making policies in the last election. Some people was blaming Biden. This whole thing was confusing to me. Yeah, can't wait for him to take away paying taxes. Oh, okay, paying taxes from overtime. For senior citizens, Social Security, no taxes. Okay. Salute to the members. We got DMW Shots is in the building. Salute. Most lies, both sides. Most lies, both sides. Well, last time we had more in the chat. We had more Trump supporters. We had a couple I think we had like three Kamala supporters, or I guess what's the Democrats and the Republicans, the red and the blue. Stop the wars. Right. Troopers, salute. They got money for war but can't feed the poor. They got money for war but can't feed the poor. Mike from Boston, salute. Already my stocks have gone up over 15,000 just based on Trump taking. Okay, okay. Okay, Mike from Boston, guys, got some bread off of that. I don't know how, but salute, man. Salute. Only facts, salute. Salute to the members. Salute to the members is in the building. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on with the migrants now. Oh, the crypto. Bitcoin is up. Oh, wow. Okay. America's a corporation. Yeah. Well, we're gonna see what Trump do. We're gonna see what Trump do. But is Trump is Trump a felon? Because a lot of people say Trump was a felon and all that. Is he a felon or he wasn't charged with nothing yet? Because if so, man, if he's a felon and he ran for president, that changes a lot of things in the country. The markets know that Trump is great for business. Okay. Not to my knowledge. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, listen, y'all. I don't know nothing. I know people say, get out there and vote and stuff like that. But some people don't understand that withholding a vote, like you don't have to vote. We march for the right to vote or not to vote. You feel what I'm saying? And a lot of people made people feel some type of way who didn't vote, and they, especially a lot of people put a lot of pressure on black people, our ancestors marched for us for the right to vote. No, they marched for civil rights. So we got the right to vote or not to vote. So to be forced to vote is the same thing as not being able to vote. You feel what I'm saying? Being forced to vote is the same thing as not being able to vote. And sometimes holding your vote, it brings power. You know what I'm saying? For instance, if we would have band together to hold our vote, we voting for whoever gonna give us our reparations. Whoever gonna give us our reparations, that's who we voted for. If we was all on one accord, we probably could have possibly pulled that off. So it's divide and conquer. See, a lot of and I didn't like how, me personally, I didn't like how they was putting pressure on us to vote for whatever side. I ain't like how they was, especially y'all remember when Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Like that was crazy to me. That was crazy to me. They don't do that to nobody else. You feel what I'm saying? So we got a lot of pressure on us, and Kamala is black. She's not black. She's Hindu. She's West Indian. She's East Indian. It's like they didn't put no pressure on nobody else. There's a lot of ethnic groups in America. They didn't put the pressure on the Chinese. They didn't put the pressure on the Jews. They didn't put the pressure on the Latino brothers and sisters. They didn't put the pressure on, that was crazy to me. I ain't like that. That was crazy to me. Right, Pamela. A lot of people don't understand certain things. Like people just be like, "Oh, you're not, she's black. Why you didn't vote for her? Because she's, and listen, man. They don't do that to other people. They don't do that to other ethnic groups or so-called races. And the whole stereotype, cleaning the greens in a tub and all that. You know, we don't all eat collard greens. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's 2024. You feel what I'm saying? Tammy, salute. Like, that rhetoric is just, it's insulting. It's insulting to our intelligence. Yeah, you know, they did that with Obama, you know? Yeah, they did that with Obama, man. And what did Obama do for us? Like, what do we get? Just because we vote for somebody because they black doesn't mean they're going to do anything for us. It's all about who's going to do something for us. I'd rather vote for a white president or a woman president or an Asian president who's going to do something for us than somebody who's black, so-called black, who ain't going to do nothing for us. Eve James, salute. So, you know, it was insulting. Like when Hillary went on, remember Hillary went on a Breakfast Club and she pulled the hot sauce out her purse? Like that was so degrading. Like I felt like, and then you know they humoring it on a Breakfast Club. Like, come on, we carry hot sauce in our purse. Like that's what black people do. We walk around with hot sauce in our bag. Like when we get to restaurants, they don't have hot sauce. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. That was crazy. Stuff like that is crazy. That's like me. That's like if you know, I'm running for president and I'm trying to appeal to Chinese people and I pull out duck sauce. I pull duck sauce out my bag. I'll be like, you know, I walk around, you know, I walk around with duck sauce in my bag. Like, it's crazy. Right. Kenny NYC. That's like me if you know if I'm trying to appeal to my Latino brothers and sisters. I got Sazone. I got some Sazone in my bag. Like, what that got to do with running for the president? Like, what did that got to do with anything? Yeah, you know, the Ebonics and even with Obama, you know, he like, I play b-ball and listen to Jay-Z. You know, I play b-ball and listen to Jay-Z. All black people don't play basketball and listen to Jay-Z. It's foolishness, man. Oh, come on. I'm done. Kitty NYC. I'm just saying, man, it's 2024, man. You know, I feel like we've been in this country so long. We've been in this country for a long time, and it's just Hassan, salute. It's just insulting. A lot of things is insulting. Like, even the whole, you know, a lot of people don't understand, you know, the whole African American thing. You know, people feel some type of way about, you know, us trying to, you know, get our own identity and stuff like that. Because you know, people don't understand. People don't understand what it feel like to, you know, have no identity. So it's just, you know, it's just a lot of foolishness that goes on, man. You know, and people are getting tired of it. You know, we grew up learning this stuff in school, seeing these things on television, and you know, people are getting tired of it. Like, you know, so right, DMW, right. We are very diverse people. Like, we very diverse people, and you know, it's all of these stereotypes and this rhetoric. They've been doing this from the beginning of of this country. Like, it's like, How long is we gonna be going through this? Right, Pamela. Yeah, the migrant thing is really, even a migrant thing is like a slap in the face. Like the migrant thing is like a slap in the face. It's like people say, we need to pay, we need to accept these migrants coming into our country and stuff like that. And, but then on the other hand, they say, oh, the reparations thing and all that. Like people ain't gonna vote for y'all to get reparations, but people didn't vote for the migrants to come in here. Nobody voted. And we paid listen, we paid into this country. We helped build this country. We helped create a lot of inventions that helped people all over the world and stuff like that. And the government didn't ask us to vote if we need to bring the migrants in here or not. They just brought them in here, and then that's our tax-paying money helping, to house them and fund them. And while we got our own citizens homeless and hungry and not qualifying for government assistance and all that, it's just sad, man. It's sad. Not about race all the time. Not about race. All about law, feeding, house, education, American citizens first. Right. But I always say, I would love it not to be about race. But that's what the whole country is built on. And if it wasn't about race, why would they make statements like, why would Biden make a statement like, if you don't vote for me, you're not black? Why is it the first black president? Like, everything is really about race, even if we don't want it to be about race. Why do we got racial profiling? Why do we still get, it's sad, but to go right to democracy, to appeal to black people, that is some bullshit. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. It shouldn't be about race. A lot of people say, we shouldn't see race, we shouldn't see color, but that's dangerous for us not to see race and color. That's dangerous. We got to talk to our children in a whole different way. We got to tell them, listen, even if your law enforcement is abusing your rights, just go along with them. Like, just don't fight back. Just go along with it, like, because you might lose your life. You know what I'm saying? If you get pulled over illegally, just go along with it. Like, that's sad. That's sad, man. And we don't have these discussions when we electing people, and when these presidents is coming into, trying to get elected and all that. Like, this is a deep-seated, deep-rooted problem. It's 2024. Can't help our own. That's a fact. That's a fact. If you have a 20-gallon fish tank, 5 to 6 feet now, try to put 3,000 fish. Yeah. Yep. That's some real shit. And we paying. Yeah. It's sad, man. Listen, man. It's sad. It's sad. Like, I know, when I leave this earth, when it's my time to, leave this earth and all of that, I'm still going to be looked at and stereotyped and believed to be a certain type of way, no matter what I do and accomplish. It's disheartening, but that's life. They really don't believe the population as a whole doesn't know what is good for their own. Right. It's people who think we can't take care of ourselves. Like, it's people that really think we can't think for ourselves and we need, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Salute to Trump, man. Congratulations, President Trump. Like I said, man, either way, I didn't really care who won or nothing like that. But the migrant thing was one of the things that I was thinking about. Besides reparations, the migrant thing was something I was thinking about, because even with the migrants, like, some of them is gonna come in here and be racist. You feel what I'm saying? Like, even some of the migrants who's gonna come over here, some of them is gonna be racist. So now we already dealing with people whose race is already in the country. Now they bringing in foreigners into our country who's gonna be like, that's crazy. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Now we gonna have migrants that's looking down on us. You feel me? We gonna have migrants coming from third world countries looking down on us. Peace to the righteous, black, white, or candy stripe. Yeah, it's sad, man. And this happened before. We've been in this country since the inception. We fought in every war. We've been here before it was called America and all that. But they shipped in immigrants and all of that in the 1800s, that came in and they was racist against us. Like, they was. So it's like, man, even in our we fought in wars, it was racism. We fought and died for the country. Man, it's just, man. Like, when I think about this and I read and I learn and stuff like that, man. I can't just turn a blind eye and act like, especially if everything is not all right. It's still, this shit is just, man. It's just, it sucks. Pause. You feel me? It sucks. Tammy, salute. Appreciate you, Tammy. And then the whole Democrat, Republican, like, I don't get that whole thing. The two-party system. I don't get that whole thing, man. It's like you got to pick the lesser of two evils. Like, nobody ever did an independent, what they call them, independent. Did they ever win? All that ever won was Democrats and Republicans. So it's just, Democrats were the ones that would have kicked. Yeah. KK Lincoln was a Republican for to free people from slavery. Yet they brainwash her. Yeah, but even Lincoln and them, it's like they didn't free us because of a moral, because it was just, it was strategic. It wasn't, they didn't free us because for morals and shit like that. Like, it was strategic. But yeah, Democrats was, but it was slaves in the South, it was slaves in the North, and and then came Jim Crow laws and segregation, and so, and then we was segregated, we was flourishing, and then they came and destroyed what we built. So it's just, man, it's just this country is crazy. This country is crazy, but salute to, I'm not a hater and all that. I don't like people to think I'm some type of hater or something like that. I'm not a hater and all that. But at the end of the day, I can't turn a blind eye and act like this ain't happening. Everybody speaks about their struggles in their countries, or their struggles in this country and stuff like that. but they always like try to say we complaining and the black on black crime, and they don't speak about no other type of on white crime, Asian on Asian crime, Latin on Latin crime. It's just too much. What is it gonna stop? DBN salute. Trump first 3 years before it was good. It seems like people are fooled by hate and don't want to admit that. Yeah. Them checks, what they was the stimulus checks or whatever they was calling it. That's a lot of people, was focused on that. So Hassan, salute. Lincoln supposedly wanted to free slaves, but he also wanted to keep some for himself. Listen, I don't put it past nobody. They mad. Trump said grab them. Oh no. What they do is have like that. Since Uncle Luke and Cardi B. I'm done. I'm not pro-Republican or towards independent, but I'm definitely ain't Democrat. Yeah, I don't even know what independent. I don't even know the independent. I don't even know what that is. Like, what's the sense? Now, back in the days, they had like the Communist Party, right? Like people, it was Republicans, Democrats, and I think communists or something like that. But then they start locking people up. They start, they a lot of people who was communists and all of that, they start, even I think the Black Panther the Black Panther Party was a party, and they was accusing black people of plotting with Russia, because Russia is communist and all that. A lot of people, that's why a lot of people locked up, political soldiers and all that. So if another party starts growing in power, the Democrats and Republicans going to join together and they're going to get rid of them. Oh, independent is unaffiliated with either side. But has an independent ever won? Anybody know? Is an independent ever won the presidency? I'm independent. That means you don't have to be affiliated with either party. Communist countries, there is no choice. Only one president dictator. Yeah, I'm not saying a communist country. I'm saying it was communist parties, right? Am I not? If I'm not mistaken, like the Black Panthers did a lot of they did a lot of that. I think the after school programs, the WIC program, and then they made them look like they was some type of black revolutionary group. You know what I'm saying? Independent is a wasted vote. Right. They made it look like, the Black Panthers was some black revolutionary group. It was a political party. I ain't learned that till later. It's like, on online, the whole FBA thing, they making it like some type of gang or group. But it's just a hashtag. It's just something to describe, black people who are from here, black people who are native to here. It's just something to subscribe to describe them, like from those who've been here from the foundation of America. But then they make it into some type of group or hate group, or it's it's the same COINTELPRO stuff going on, man. And this is just on the internet. It's not like it's some type of organization that's on paper. It's just something that people are using, like a term, like black or African American or you know. So they do that, there's a lot of the tactics they use. And it's sad that people really be falling for that propaganda. Right, right. That's a fact. That's a fact. Communist is like China. No, no, but it's not communist. That was just name of the party. All right. They got Republicans, right? But they have countries that's a republic. But Republicans is just a party. Now they had a communist party, but they have countries that's a communist country. But the country is not communist, is a party. Like they got the democracy, democratic countries, democracies, where the whole country is, it's Democrat, but these are just parties. So a lot of people get this confused. America is not a democracy. America is like a democratic republic or something like that. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So there's a lot of wordplay and propaganda that be going into this. You know what I'm saying? Like independence, that's just a party. Those are just parties. That doesn't define the country. We are all human race, people trying to group themselves with one side, like we Latinos, meanwhile, not all Latinos like one another. Yeah, yeah. They have their own individual heritage. Right, 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 right. Just like here in America, all FBA or whatever you call it don't like each other. You got people in the South that don't like up north city slickers. They call them up north, and then you like people up north that don't like people in the South. They call them country bumpkins. You know what I'm saying? Like you got, so everybody is not everybody is not the same. All of us don't listen to hip hop. All of us don't play sports. All of us don't like watermelon and fried chicken, and it's just ridiculous. Like sometimes it's just ridiculous. All of us don't like hot sauce and chitlins. All of us ain't eating pig feet and hot. All of us can't dance. You know what I'm saying? All of us can't jump. All of us can't play sport. Like this shit is just ridiculous. Like this is ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Only facts, family. I don't listen. I'm not a hot sauce fan. Right, me either. I'm not really a hot sauce fan either. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not even out. Yeah, man. And I don't like chitlins. Ugh. Ugh. I don't like no damn chitlins. And like I said, I like cantaloupe better than watermelon. You know what I'm saying? Wild country, salute. Just like I'm pretty sure all Chinese people don't know karate. We be thinking all Chinese people know. You don't know karate? Like, you feel me? But these are the stereotypes that we was taught. You know. But it's 2024, like 2024, 2024. Red and blue, right? That red and blue state, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that chitlins. Oh my gosh. Lord. Oh, come on, man. Come on, Wild Country. Don't that's the after show. Wild Country. That's the after show, man. How long do y'all think it's gonna be like this? Because not in our lifetime, I don't think we're gonna live, maybe more, all praises to the Most High. Maybe one day we'll see, change and all of that. We'll see, um, these stereotypes and these, and this rhetoric go out the window. But I don't think I'm gonna see it in my lifetime. But I expect the worst and pray for the best. But I don't think I'm gonna see it in my lifetime. Even like a black president, Obama. I'm not saying Obama is not black, but they would call him biracial. You know what I'm saying? Even biracial, even like biracial people, if one of your parents is white and one of your parents is black, you automatically black. Like, yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's like, they used to have the one drop rule. If you have one drop of black blood, you black. But then they say we all from Africa. So if all humans is from Africa, and don't everybody got black blood? Like, so it's a bunch of rhetoric. So if one of your parents is white, one of your parents is black, you're automatically black. So you just erase your whole white side. Like, you don't acknowledge your whole white side. Like, that's crazy. If one of my parents was white, I would want to embrace that side. Like, that's my parents. You feel what I'm saying? Right, Pamela. And it's foolishness. It's foolishness. Aunt Macbeck, hold on. Salute, Aunt Macbeck. They set it up like that because the king and the queen take that. Right. So why is it like that? Is it like that? Like, for salute to all my Latino brothers and sisters. Salute to all my Latino brothers and sisters. Is it like that for y'all? Like, in like Latin countries and stuff like that? Are y'all looked at as black and white? Red Jones, salute. Like, say you from Puerto Rico, right? And one of your parents, have, they black, right? And then one of your parents, or look black, or whatever you want to call it, right? And then your parents, say one of your parents, they both from Puerto Rico, they both was born in Puerto Rico, they both Puerto Rican, but one has kinky hair and dark skin, and the other one has light skin and blonde hair, like, and they have you. What do they consider you? Puerto Rican, right? You feel what I'm saying? So why is it not like that in here in America? That's what I'm saying. Kenzo, salute. Like Kamala, right? Kamala was born in, her parents is from Jamaica, right? Or was they both born in Jamaica? I don't know. It gets real confusing to me and all that. And then, you ask these questions and people feel some type of way. Yeah, in Puerto Rico, it's colorism going on. The colonizers left an impression on the people. The whiter you are, the right. That's colorism. I'm not talking about colorism. I'm talking about like race. Like, do they look at each other as different races? Because even in us FBA or black people, we got colorism too. We got colorism, light skin versus dark skin. Y'all don't be seeing that. They even still have it to this day on social media. Light skin versus dark skin. So we have colorism. But what I'm saying is, you know, if you Puerto Rican and you got blonde hair and blue eyes and you look so-called white, or you got, you know, kinky hair and dark skin, or you look so-called black, y'all considered Puerto Rican. You feel what I'm saying? But here in America, if you got blonde hair, blue eyes, they label you white. And if you got kinky hair, dark skin, they label you black. And your children are called biracial. They not just called American. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just, listen, man, I don't want to get all too crazy with it and all that. I just want to put that out there. Listen, I'm gonna drop the link if anybody want to talk about Trump or stuff like that. We don't have to make this about race or nothing like that. But like I said, I really didn't choose either side because I think you know it's certain issues that we need to discuss and all of that, and we need the whole of these. And I'm not talking about y'all. I'm just talking about us as FBA or Black America, whatever you want to call us, right? Because everybody seems like they feel some type of way if we call ourselves something. I can understand if you was one of us and you felt like, nah, I want to be called African American, I want to be called Negro, I want to be called FBA, cool. But if you not one of us and you feel some type of way about what we call ourselves, why y'all don't have the same energy for the LTGB whatever community? Why y'all don't have the same energy for them? They get to call themselves whatever they want to call themselves. Why y'all don't have the same energy when a so-called man feel like he's a woman trapped in a man's body and they don't want to be classified as a man or a woman, or they want to be called why y'all don't have that same energy? It's crazy. So stuff like that, man. So I feel like a lot of these issues we need to hold the country accountable for before we can move on as a country, especially if we going into other countries and telling them how they should run their countries and telling them they should give justice to certain types of ethnic groups in their country, and we can't get our stuff together. You know what I'm saying? So it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. People is coming from other countries with their own, bringing the same mentality in, stereotyping us and telling us how we should feel and what we should call ourselves and where we come from and all of that type of stuff. We can't go to other countries and do that. You'll find yourself. You feel what I'm saying? Ain't nobody else you can't go to other countries and tell the people from there all that type of stuff. You mess around and lose your life. To solve those issues, we have to take back control of our own government, which we did. John Illuminati, salute. But yeah, man, I'm gonna drop the link if anybody want to come on. If keep it respectful and all of that, last time we had got a little heated and all that. But remember, this is the serious page, and salute to everybody. I'll be right back after this message from it's not our sponsor, but after this break. Red Jones, salute to all the members. Appreciate y'all, salute. We are back. Salute to the members, salute to the chat, salute to everybody watching from the background, watching from the other platform. Salute to everybody who gonna catch this on a replay. Appreciate y'all. But yeah, man. And like I said, man, we still haven't gotten the president from here, or FBA, or whatever you want to call that. Maybe we might not see one in my lifetime. I don't know. I want to see an FBA in the presidency before a woman. I'd rather stick with the devil I know. Only fools who see. It was a landslide for Trump. Kenzo, salute.
Hey, so what's going on, brother?
What's going on? What's going on?
Yeah, man. Nah, I just wanted to join the conversation. As I've said before, I always like picking your mind, pause on these type of things. So I know you were presenting some questions. I was gonna, kind of ask you maybe to reiterate one or two or something. I could try to go off of that.
Oh, okay, okay. Which ones?
So no, what I was saying is, like, what was your one of your main overarching points you would say at tonight's show, maybe, just so I don't want to steer away too far of what you're speaking on.
Well, I was just speaking on, I was really speaking on the election and all that. I really didn't have a side or I didn't really care who won or not. But what I did was, reparations was big for me, but I know that wasn't going to happen. So the second thing was the migrants. So I was trying to figure out who's the people who because some people say it was Trump before he left office, and then some people say it was Biden about who let the migrants in there and stuff.
I think that's a huge topic for a lot of people. So I mean that you saying that you're second or even 1B per se. I think you're in a big majority with it. I think immigration was a huge issue. The Democrats just did not touch it enough, let's say, and I think that's why you saw what you saw yesterday. This is like we haven't seen a landslide like this in a long time.
Right. So was it the Democrats or the Republicans who did the immigration? Like, who was it? Pamela, salute.
Trump was pushing hard on immigration and inflation. They were his two like sticking points, and that's what a lot of Americans. I mean, at least what I see and hear, that's what a lot of people are, want fixed essentially. And then, I think the Democrats, maybe in my personal opinion, I think they leaned a little too far into identity politics.
Right. So you don't know who's the one who okayed the migrants to come in. You don't know if it was Trump or.
I mean, Democrats are always a little looser when it comes to sanctuary cities and letting people come in and the vetting systems. And I mean, everybody has these discussions because it's when he was saying in 2016 about building a wall, a lot of that was because of how flawed what's there now is. Like the fence, you know what I mean? Fences that are in disrepair and things of that. So like he took it to the extreme of saying, I'm building a wall, but it's like, that's not what we necessarily needed. We needed a little bit of repair. Like, can we repair what's there? Do you know what I mean? Like we need to find the balance on a lot of these topics, I feel.
Oh, okay. So John Illuminati said no, Biden's first day had 94 executive orders erase Trump's border policy. You see, like some people are saying, some people who was voted for Trump or supported the Republicans or Trump supporters or whatever you want to call it, say it was the Democrats that is the ones who, okayed the migrants, and then like some Democrats or, Kamala supporters or whatever you want to call it, they say Trump did that before he left office. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm trying to understand who was the ones who okayed the migrants to come in. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's different.
Yeah, who allowed to the point it's at now. I totally agree with that. Because it does seem like it's an open door.
Right. Personally. So if I was to vote, that would be my biggest reason to vote for whatever side allowed that. I would not vote for that side. But I don't even know to this. I still don't know because both sides say.
See, and that's a good point. That's a great you not knowing, and you're asking most of us, and we don't either. So it's not like you're misinformed. It appears like the majority would be if we're misinformed, it would be the majority, because we're all like, wait, like what's that? So it's
Right.
like, but outside looking in, optic wise, I mean, I think everyone knows I'm pretty liberal to a sense, but at the same token, you'd be lying to yourself and everyone if you said you don't see more of a migration now. The more
Right.
people coming in, per se.
And another selling point would be for me, because like I said, I'm not choosing no side, but if I was, another selling point for me is did Kamala get voted in what they call it, the primaries or something like that, or was she just put there because Biden stepped down
I
or
think that was why she lost in a way, because she didn't come in until after, because they were saying he was okay and he could hang in there for a little too long. You know what I mean? So when she didn't, she wasn't even at the DNC. Like she wasn't
right,
the candidate. She wasn't the candidate then. So she's only. I heard the number today. Pardon me on the last two digits, obviously, but 100 and something days until is when she came in. So realistically, you didn't even give yourself but 3.5, 3 months to
so
try
she
to put your name in the hat. So it's. I don't know if there was enough time for
so she,
campaigning and people to know her
yeah,
platforms.
yeah, because before you run, right, you have to have the Democrats have to run against each other, and then they'll
Yep.
choose
Yep.
who's supposed to run for president, and the Republicans also.
Exactly.
So my question is, did she do that? Did she run it? Was she the one who was
I do
chosen?
believe so. I do believe so. She did run,
Okay.
but I think Biden was still the candidate. Like she receded to him.
Also, she wasn't the one who they
No, no,
chose.
Biden was the winner. No, Biden was the winner. Yeah.
Oh, see, that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying, because if Trump had to go through that and he was chosen to run for the Republicans, he'll naturally have
Hmm.
more people supporting him and voting for him
Yeah,
because
no, he did. I mean, publicly they turned Robert Kennedy, right? Like Robert Kennedy Jr. was a known. The Kennedys are obviously known Democrats. Bobby
right,
Kennedy Sr., JFK, both famous Democrats. But he's about to get a job in Trump's cabinet. You're seeing these people that you've turned in the last 4 years, last 8 years, whatever have you. And I think that's what won the election last night. They're saying certain counties didn't have a lot of turnover, but other areas did. Yeah, they're the areas where people won 4 years ago or 8 years ago were embarrassed to say they would vote for Trump. There's people now that go, look, we gave both sides a chance, and I feel things were better in this period than that period. And
right.
people look at things for different reasons: money, society, whatever have you.
Kara, salute. Yeah, so
I
that's
think we
why
have a divide with that.
it's a lot of things. Like if I was to vote, I would. Is a lot of things that's confusing to me that
Mm-hmm.
and people, it's like people don't really have answers. It was like I'm a Trump supporter, I'm a Kamala supporter, and before I never really heard stuff like that. I thought it was Democrats, Republican, or what's the
Mm-hmm.
best policy?
I
Who
think
had the
most of
best
us just,
policy?
yeah, exactly. I think most of us just want a good candidate whose policies represent us and what we believe this country stands for. That's what everybody wants, whether whoever you vote for. I mean, you're going for one or the other for that.
Right, but it didn't look like that. Like this race.
No, it's a little weird right
Romeo,
now.
salute. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
because I remember who was that was like, if you vote for me, no new taxes. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. Was that Reagan, I believe?
It's one of them, but people don't do that no
Yeah,
more.
yeah,
It's
Reagan
like,
or Bush, one of them. Yeah, no new taxes, and then slaying people with tax. Like I said to people, you got to remember, man, the government will never give money back, right? So everybody's like, right now, we got to vote for Trump because gas prices, groceries. I agree, this shit's out of hand. So if he does help us there, it has to come from somewhere. If they don't, you know what I mean? They're not going to be like, well, you guys are right. We're going to take a little money out of our pockets and help you. That's not what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So it's like it does come from somewhere else. We just, as Americans, have to settle on what we're comfortable with taking and giving to. I seen you earlier. Your one of your points was reparations. I don't feel either party was really bringing any of that conversation to the table, and the
right,
only way that conversation does get to the table is honestly through votes. Like you have to get the word out there. You got to get people voting on it. Like because when we do vote for president, right, we do vote for other things. And you know, Californians can speak on when they're voting, they got their props, you know, Prop 217, and it means this. And you're voting on so many things. And I think people aren't speaking on that enough as well. It's Trump Kamala, but no one's speaking on that. The Republicans had a clean sweep last night. They took the Senate, they took the House of Representatives, the presidency, and, you know, he was already putting some of his pieces in place in the Supreme Court before he left. So essentially, Republicans own all three parties, not parties, but, you know, whatever of government.
Yeah, branches.
Branches.
Salute.
Thank you. Yes, exactly. They own all three branches of government.
See, what I seen was a lot I heard was Trump is racist and Kamala is black. You know what I'm saying? It's like I didn't really hear who was doing what was the policy, who was going to give us what. And then another thing with the reparations, you know, I understand people were supposed to vote and all of that, but I feel like if people, black people or FBA or whoever held they vote and said, you know, we all going to stand together and we going to vote for whoever is promising us that, you know, we could have had a better chance of even.
That's what kind of what I was speaking on. That is the only path that it's ever going to get anywhere. It's a shame the country's to that point, right? Like you're bringing up what you just brought up. I think is the most logical way that almost anybody would think of something in this country these days. It's like, oh, we almost got to hold our shit ransom. Pardon my French. We almost got to hold things ransom to get the ball rolling here. That's ridiculous. We shouldn't have to do that. We should have to say, hey, you're our constituent. This is how we feel. It shouldn't have to be, you know what, we're going to hold ours back from you until you learn how to act. It really shouldn't be that way, but it is.
That's how it is. It's like with the Christian people. Christian people, they got big vote in this country. So that's why a lot of presidents is Christian. Like if you was Jewish or you was Muslim, you know, you might not get that Christian vote. You see what I'm saying?
A lot of that identity politics and things of that nature still showed up, right? They thought Kamala would win being quote woman of color, right? Married to a white Jewish man. Oh, that's you know, you got the whole package here. Well, the American people are disagreeing, and you know, as I was coming up, you were bringing up some points about like maybe the LGBTQ community, and I think that's kind of what we're seeing a little bit with the voting power last night. Is that I think people are a little upset with how far things are going in certain directions. I think most of us want common sense politics.
No, I brought up the LTG because a lot of people feel some type of way about, you know, the FBA thing and all of that, or black people not wanting to be called African American and stuff like that. But nobody got nothing to say about the LTG community. They don't want to be called homosexual or whatever. They want to be called this and that, and people seem to support that. But when it comes to what we want to be called, is like it's some type of problem.
No, I understand. I understand that platform 100%, and you're 100% right with that. And we could take it past that community to any community, anybody who feels like in my experience, most people who I would qualify to be FBA or who identify as FBA, it's like, why wouldn't they be a little bit frustrated? Like if you're yelling the house is on fire for 25 years and no one's coming with the water yet, you're like, wait a minute here. What is going on? I've been yelling for a long time. So, but again, to your point, why is everyone else obligated the frustration? Right? Like it when gays felt like they didn't have their rights, they marched in the streets as they should. You're American, you fight for your rights, whatever. But they came out in masses in these major cities where it made an impact.
Yeah, it's so like it's okay. People is not saying the LTG community is dividing the gay community. You feel what I'm saying?
It's just, I don't know. It's a discussion I think needs to be had. I think a lot of stuff needs to get to common sense politics, and I feel like we do at least hear a lot from the people who are on the you know, the spikes of it, so to speak. Like I tell people all the time that people lose their mind over some, you know, trans rights issue or whatever the case, and I'm like, how many trans people have you seen this week, this year, your lifetime? Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of times we lose our minds over things that don't directly affect us.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's like people can say gay rights and trans rights, but if we say, we want FBA rights, or so they be like, oh, y'all, it's not about y'all rights, it's about everybody. But you can have gay rights and trans or women's rights. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't. There's a lot of stuff I don't.
No, I get exactly what you're saying, and that's why I'm saying. Why does everyone else get that justified frustration, but when it's to the black community specifically, it's like, all right, get over it. It's like, wait, it wasn't get over it for anybody else. Like,
right? It's like even with Obama, they saying, oh, just because Obama is black don't mean he has to do stuff for black people, but you did stuff for the LTG community. You feel what I'm saying? That's a specific 100%. Thing.
And you should have your politicians representing you. There's nothing wrong with feeling like, okay, I thought this person who looked somewhat like me would represent me, and he didn't. So I'm allowed to be upset about that.
Right. So, because if we was to elect a LTG president and they would start doing laws for them, people wouldn't feel no type of way. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like,
I think it just gets back to a lot of common sense, and it misses out. Like I said, when it comes to like the reproductive rights and things that a lot of people were fighting over that. Oh my God, Trump won. Now your daughters should never forgive you. And it's like, I don't know if people understand how things really do work in the country, like with the Constitution and things like that. It's like since day one, they haven't really been able to change your state's rights. Like I'm in PA. It was 24 weeks before any declaration was made. It's still 24 weeks. It will always be 24 weeks. That's what Pennsylvania has agreed. That's their point. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like the government can't come in and supersede that now, because then Pennsylvania would take them to court because it's up to the states. Right. So I think people would just get misinformed on things. It's like, oh, he's going to make a national ban. Like he can't. Like, not under what we have right now. Sure, like he could change things around and then pull some strings. Sure, anybody can do that, but that's not where we stand today.
Right.
These rules were put in place for a reason.
Yeah. So it's a lot of stuff.
Our government has thrived for 240, almost 250 years. It's not a lot in the grand scheme of countries, but we're still on the same rules we made in the 1700s.
Yeah, and the way things is going, how people is not about the policies but about the party. This is how civil wars are started.
Oh, cult of personalities. That's exactly how they're started, and that's what we're making is cult of personalities. That's what it is with both of them. I mean, me and Kels are sitting here today, and we're watching a ton of, I guess you would say Democrats, and crying, and we're dead. We're done. Don't you understand? We're done. They're screaming, and I'm like, it's day one. Like, I don't care who's in that office in January 20th or whatever inauguration is. You still got work the next day, and your rent's still due February 1st. Like, let's focus it up. I think some people need to focus up. They get a little too carried away. They might not have a lot going on in other places. So it gives them a sense of belonging.
It defeats the whole thing about them saying, you shouldn't, if somebody become a president, like they shouldn't just take care of their people and all of that. Like, say somebody is white who become the president, they can't just look out for white people. They got to look out for black people, Americans. So it should be the same thing with the party. Just because a Democrat won, don't mean they're gonna look out for only Democrats.
Exactly.
You feel what I'm saying? They the president of the country. So
you got to remember, Trump can never run again, right? Like at this rate, again, you could change amendments, but right now Trump can never run again. This is his second term. He can't run again. But J.D. Vance, the vice president, can, and he does want to run in 2028. So why would you screw over Democrats now? That doesn't make any sense. We want you to vote for this guy in 4 years. We got to keep you at least a little bit on deck. So to your point, I agree 100% with that. Like, why would you demonize? And I think that's a lot of the problem, right? Like calling Trump supporters garbage a week before the election will go down as the dumbest shit in history.
Yeah.
Like, you thought by pushing this issue that this comedian said that Puerto Rico was a pile of trash, that Puerto Ricans would just change their vote. Like, that's one thing compared to 50 things. You have to give people a little more a week before, and then you'll say, oh, you're garbage. Joe Biden, years ago, famously to Charlemagne, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Like, who are you, sir? Do you know what I mean? So the party is so out of touch, bro. And I'm hearing so many Republicans aren't even gloating to the amount I thought they would. I thought it would be like nah, 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 boo, boo type stuff. And it's really not. They're like, yeah, of course we won. Democrats threw it away. Like, do you know what I mean? They're all just like, of course, it's not, it's foregone conclusion to them. Of course we won. This is the biggest win in decades. We haven't had a Republican win like this since Bush in 04. That's 20 years ago.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I mean?
remember.
Like this is,
Remember Ice Cube did that thing, and then he talked to Trump, and everybody got mad at him because he talked to Trump.
at Ice Cube, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said that's crazy. Like, why is you mad?
What's he
Because
supposed
who
to
he
do?
talked to? Right, that shit is crazy. He said he tried to talk to both sides, but Trump is the one who gave him the ear.
Reached out. And that's what just happened with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan just had Trump on, and that just gave him a whole bunch of new voters. People who were in the middle. And listen, Joe Rogan was saying for years, he was saying he wouldn't bring one of them on without the other. That was the last election. So, over time, things change. And everyone can sense that this is way different than 2016 or 2020. Like the people, the energy, everything is different.
Yeah.
So Joe Rogan offered it to both. And they're basically saying either, one side is saying Joe Rogan wouldn't take it easy, so to speak. So they didn't do it for that reason. And then the other side's just saying, scheduling conflicts and things of that nature. But Trump doing Rogan, you sat there with a guy for 3 hours, like on a podcast. You can get a lot of the information you want in 3 hours. And Joe, everyone knows Joe says, like, here's my position. I don't want to platform people I don't, necessarily follow, but the Democrats have gotten crazy in the last few years to the point a lot of people crossed over them lines.
Yeah, and Trump came to the Bronx, and Trump went to a lot of places.
Saying.
Like, I didn't see Kamala really go to.
Listen, bro, they compared Trump when he just came to New York the last time. If you remember, he just sold out the Garden, Madison Square Garden. Yeah. Most historic. Now, in my mind, I mean, I'm a sports fan. I know most of you. That's probably the most historic stadium, facility, whatever, in a sports facility, entertainment facility in America. What else is up there? Like our Philly, where I'm from, our historic stuff's gone. The Vet's gone. They tore it down, whatever. So it's like Madison Square Garden's this legendary place. They start comparing it to when there was, because in 1935, there was a Nazi convention there, because there were Nazis in America before World War II. Right. So there was they tried comparing it to that. It's like, but once you do that, people start looking at pictures and they're seeing people of all colors in the crowd, you start to lose people. You lose credibility automatically. Right. This is a Nazi meeting, and then you're seeing all the black supporters in the Bronx, like you just said. You know what I mean? It's like you're lying to people, and it don't work anymore.
Yeah, it was a lot of Latino supporters when I went to the Trump rally.
Yeah, they're saying that's what won them. They're saying white women, Latino men, and black men. Mm-hmm. So, which is crazy because in a way you're targeting people, aren't you? Like, oh, Trump won because of white women, black men. It's like, all right, did you just not single them out? Like, don't do that. There's crazy people out here.
But it's funny because the Republican Party is really known to be a white male-dominated party, so that shows you something too. You know what I'm saying?
Of course. And I would still agree because last night when I'm, I always tell everybody I can't watch one news source, right? Like to me that feels like you're in a echo chamber. If I'm only watching CNN, and I brought this point up before when the tragedy happened in Buffalo just a year or two ago, the shooting. When I put on Fox News, they weren't even talking about it. They were talking about January 6th. So I'm like, wow, in a way, a Fox News resident doesn't even know half of this story, so to speak. So I'm always watching multiple things. And as I'm watching the crowds, I'm watching the Trump party. And it was mostly, you could tell, it was like mostly middle-class white people. And then a mix in of other people. You look at Kamala's, it's every face, every gender, whatever you want to say. So I don't know, man. Either we were lied to about the political polls or they don't know what they're doing. And I always lean to the latter.
I always had more of an understanding of every presidential race except for this one. This one was real confusing to me. It's like nobody was saying nothing. It was a bunch of rhetoric. Oh, salute to the members. If you want to join the members only, hit that link pinned to the top of the chat. Salute to y'all. So yeah, I was real lost on this one. I really didn't care who won who didn't win, but that's the one thing besides the reparations that I was thinking about was the migrants. Like I don't know who.
Yeah, I mean
hope
that's one of the big points.
yeah,
It's the reproductive rights, right? So I don't want to say the word, obviously, the A word for babies.
right,
Get rid of
right.
a baby. Um, it was that the economy, immigration, like these are the main talking points. And it's like if you're not touching on these points, people are not going to vote for you. Period. Like it's already we live in a pop culture driven society. We live in these cult of personalities. Americans will vote for a president because he's famous. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? Like if The Rock runs, The Rock could win just because he's The Rock.
Yeah.
He might have no policies, no experience, but people are like, I love The Rock. He was my favorite wrestler. I love his movies. That's
But
not why we should vote.
I think both sides dropped the ball on the migrant
Mm-hmm.
explaining to us what the hell is going on. Like, because we ain't getting no
I agree.
explanation. It's just
And
crazy.
then they wonder why conspiracy theories and things of that nature run so rampant. Like, how about you give some information, and those on the border or on the fence can, be a little more informed and not jump down those rabbit holes.
So did anybody
But then
say
you
they're
start
gonna
to
do
wonder.
what they're gonna do about the migrant problem, or they just skipped over it?
I mean, Trump's, just talking about, doubling up on the reinforcement and stuff like that. Listen, stuff is crazy out here, man. Like last night, while the election's going on, we were testing missiles. The U.S. We were launching missiles to show the rest of the world our effectiveness at nukes.
Wow.
So is China. So is North Korea. So it's like, meanwhile, there's a war in Ukraine. There's a war brewing in Taiwan. There's a war in Israel. So, and certain things have driven me nuts. All these wars didn't happen under Trump. These are other countries, bro. We don't have any control over when the war starts.
Right.
Like Ukraine and Russia, like if y'all don't remember Crimea, that happened, I think, in 2014, I want to say. They tried taking Crimea back then. This has been ongoing with every one of these rivals that you're seeing today, Israel and Palestine, Taiwan and China, and Ukraine and Russia. These are all 40 to 70-year beefs. It was just we were in a lull. But now everybody's fighting. So it's like, they're saying China will have 1,000 nukes by 2030, which I was saying, to my son, like the U.S. and Russia agreed. We cut a lot of ours off through the 80s. We had like 4,000. Now we're down to like 1,800 nukes. So it's like, but if you're bringing them in with somebody who already has 1,800, now you're almost doubling them up. That is a little alarming.
People salute Kamala asking for a recount. Can she get a recount? I don't think so, right?
She can ask for it, and I mean, yeah, they can do it, but it's not even fully ratified yet. Like the electoral college still has a few days to get all their votes in. A lot of what we heard yesterday is like what people said they're going to do as far
Also,
as the
Trump is
electoral
not
college.
actually the president yet.
But Trump won the popular at this rate, how everything's lining up right now. He won the electoral college by a lot. As you see your graphic on the screen, you only need 270, and you have 295. I seen 299 under one, one model. So between that's the electoral college, but they're saying he also won the popular vote, which is us, is what we do, the popular vote. So they're still saying they got to count mail-in votes, absentee votes, and that stuff, but they're not going to say Trump's president if he's pretty much not sealed.
Right, because they saying he's president, so I don't
He's
know.
president. Yeah, like it's very, very rare. Like the last time we got this far, and then all of a sudden it was like 1876. So you see how rare it is, right? Like the closest we got again was Trump last time saying that it was fixed. And that didn't go all the way through. That was just like the closest we've gotten since. But yeah, I mean, he won the popular vote, which is the voters. He won the electoral college. It's a sealed deal. I mean, you see the difference in counts right there. From one number, you figure, again, you only need 270. Trump on your form on the screen is 295. So even if we take that 25 that he doesn't need and give it to her, she still doesn't have enough.
Right.
You know what I mean? She would still need like 24 more, 23 more. So it's, I think people spoke up last night. I think that's what it was. I think people spoke up and said, "Hey, we're sick of this, 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 and this. All this identity politics. You know, the people need this. We need to have these conversations. Trans athletes and that whole situation. A study came out a few days ago. 900 biological women have been, quote, robbed of gold medals through this. You know, with trans women
Oh
getting into
wow.
the female sports and thing.
Yeah.
900 women. Like, so at what point are we? One thing is one and one is the other. Women's rights or, you know, equality, whatever have you. So there's a lot on the table right now. Again, we're still dealing with race issues. We're still dealing with class issues. We're still dealing with, you know, there's a lot of divide. But man,
And
I
that's
appreciate you for having platforms like this, because for the real Americans, the regular Americans, this is the stuff I think we need the most, where we could all talk and think out shit, you know.
right. And that's why I said a lot of this stuff is not going to change and all that. We didn't even discuss it, but the problem, like for me, you know, we've been having these discussions about, you know, race and all of that, but the migrant thing is something new. Like I think, you know, that's going to affect. You can see the effects of that. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that, I mean, I think it's been a problem. Like the last few elections, that's what people have really stuck up against. And Trump did help a little bit, you know, by pressuring Mexico, like, yeah, you're going to build the wall and we're going to build a wall and they're going to pay for it. It pressured them a little bit. Tonight, I seen on a news clip, was it El Salvador? El Salvador, we were watching a clip. They're down there making mass arrests tonight. Like 2,000 soldiers and 500 policemen went to this one area that's known for gang activity and was just raiding every house.
Wow.
2,500 people. So between soldiers and police, bro, they're doing like a clean sweep. I'm like, obviously things like that couldn't happen here, but how many people are going to now try to run? Maybe they run from El Salvador to the country above them and keep going. But I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, I think a lot of this is common sense, you know, with
But I never seen
you.
nothing like this. How they was
Yeah.
busting these
Yeah.
people in and stuff. I never seen nothing like this.
Well, that was unexpected to me as well. It seems a little spiteful, especially when you're hearing like, you know, Texas Governor Greg Abbott is busing people to New York and Philly. But on the same token, it's like they're not a sanctuary state. They don't say we're a sanctuary state. Come here if you need asylum. Our cities and states do. So I do get the spite. Like somebody said that last night. Oh, the Democrats was always, if the Republicans hit low, we hit high. You know, Michelle Obama famously said that. But at the same time, it's like, at what point do people get frustrated, right? And it's like, you're only going to take my legs out so many times before I'm going to kick you. And that's
Right.
kind of where I think people are at. I think people are just fed up with Trump. Everyone knows Trump's whole thing is I'm not a politician. I was a celebrity, a businessman, you know, so that's what the selling point still is for him. You're looking at Kamala and you're like, all right, you're government. No matter, you know, you were a DA and then you were a senator and a vice president, you're government. We don't want you. That's kind of people. I'm hearing people say it's because she's a woman and a woman of color. I don't know how much of that matters to people nowadays. I know in my heart of hearts, it wouldn't matter. If I liked her policies, I wouldn't care your gender, your race. You know what I mean? You want someone to represent what you believe in.
Right. Right.
But, hey, bro, I appreciate the your time and the platform again, man. Appreciate you.
Nah, salute. Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
No doubt, no doubt. Make sure you guys are hitting that like and sharing. We got to keep the serious page going. Kate, when he's KT, pardon, he provides us with some awesome content, and there's a lot of dope content here as well. So I've always been a advocate, me and Kels per se, but for the serious page. So make sure you guys are showing that love.
Right. That's a fact. That's a
Salute,
fact.
my brother. I'll talk to you later on.
Salute. Salute. Appreciate you. Yeah, man. That was, you know, I got a lot of insight about what's going on. That's because the Salvadorian president been cracking down on gangs since he got elected. 13 don't get flooding out borders. Well, yeah, MS-13. You're right. You're right. John Illuminati. That's a fact. Yep. Yep. Okay, I care too much. Thank God. It won't happen. BMW shot. Salute. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Pamela. Salute to all the members. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate the support. Red Jones, salute. Appreciate the super sticker. Salute to y'all. Salute to y'all. Appreciate that. Man, I guess Trump is the winner. Trump is the president. He can't run again, though. Trump is the president. Let's see what goes on, especially with these migrants. Let's see if they do anything about it. Will it get worse? Will it get better? Only time will tell. Salute to Kenzo. Salute to Kenzo. Appreciate you. If anybody else got anything to say? Did I drop the link? The link is in the chat. Salute to the members. If you want to join the members only, hit that link pinned to the top of the chat. I feel for the migrants. We have to draw the line. That's a fact. That's a fact, Pamela. That's a fact. Listen, I'm not cold-hearted or nothing like that. But at the end of the day, we gotta look out for our own first. I know they say, the migrants have children and families and all that, but we got children and families and all that over here too. So we got to look out for our own first, because how can we help other countries if we can't help our own? I love our neighbor. Right. I hear you, Cara. I hear you. That's a fact. Our families do come first. We paid into this country. We pay taxes. Our families went to wars, and man, it's like what they have done. Right. All right. I see. John Illuminati, man. John Illuminati. Trump won. Well, now let's see what's going to happen now. Let's see what Trump do. Trump won. Let's see what Trump do. It's time to show and prove now. Time to show and prove. Hopefully we get some, things done. Our country is a shambles and we're helping other countries to fight wars. They make money. Yeah, that is a fact. Only facts. That is a fact. So, some people say, they tried to assassinate Trump. Some people say that was publicity stunt. It wasn't real, but What y'all think? Do y'all think they'll try to attempt it again? I think they said it was two attempts. They said it was 2 attempts. Right. Like the Pope, right? Yeah. If that was true, they said it was 2 attempts. Mm-hmm. Great points. Is that the Alien Act? Is that thing where they was like classified? Y'all ever seen that video where they was like classified? Remember that? Right, that's a fact, Pamela. Salute, Carl. I appreciate you. Yeah, like I said, I don't really be knowing too much about politics and stuff like that, but I know one thing, man. Something ain't right. Something going on. I don't know what it is. And I hope we ain't heading for another civil war or another world war. Appreciate you, Pamela. Wait, hold on. Salute, Pamela. Appreciate the cash app. I believe they tried to be exposed of what's going on. Could be. I wouldn't put it past. Right. Be brainwashed. Let people actually believe the story seems to be all just on different levels. Right. Well, you know, all praises to the Most High, Pamela. All praises to the Most High. If I learn anything, is I don't know anything. I don't know anything, but you know. But we all really don't know anything. But you know, everybody, you know, have their opinion, their ideology, their theology, or whatever you want to call it. Lando, salute. Okay, you voted home twice. Okay. Listen, anybody want to hit the link? Link is inside the chat. So y'all know after this, we gonna head to the after party. I mean, not after party, but after show. For those who know, they know. For those who don't know, they don't know. You know, I don't really like to promote that page over here. Ziggy Zero, salute. Salute, Kenzo. Generally, when you don't understand why you support Trump, given his character and his politics. I don't know if you're talking to me, but I don't support either side. But maybe somebody in the chat can help you out with that. Right, DMW. This was a real dope conversation, man. I appreciate y'all. This was some some grown up type of time, adult. This was a nice adult conversation. It's not easy to have these. Not easy to have these. It's all good, Ziggy Zero. Right, Cara. That is a fact. You know what I learned too? Sometimes they say don't kill a messenger and all that. It's not about the messenger. It's about the message. The messenger could be, the worst person in the world, but if it's a good message, it's still a good message. Or the messenger could be the best person in the world, a very good person and moral person. But if the message is bad, it's still a bad message. Now, if you can have a good messenger and a good message, that's wonderful. But I'd rather have a good message than a good messenger. If I had to choose between the message and the messenger, I'd rather have a good message than a good messenger. But if you can have both, that's dope. And a bad messenger and a bad message is the worst. You feel what I'm saying? So a lot of people nowadays be worrying about the messenger. They worried about the label. They worrying about, they judging books by their cover and stuff like that. It's unfortunate. I'd rather send from. I hear that. Yeah, that. Kara. Right. As long as they get the point, that's a fact. That's a fact. But common sense ain't common no more. David was a king. So God was able to get the glory through. Right. You know what I learned too by reading, reading the Bible and all that, and they talk about, the house, David was supposed to build the house for God, the house of God, the temple of God. It's not a building. It's not a building. And the Bible would say, we, our body, we are the temple of the Holy, the Spirit and all that. So the house of God is really us. You know what I'm saying? The Spirit lives and dwells within us. We're the house. So we got to build ourselves, spiritually, mentally, physically, morally. It's not a building. A building is just a building. So at the end of the day, the temple of God, the house of God, ultimately was, the man Emmanuel, who they called, Jesus Christ. That was the true house being built. Even though if David didn't understand it at the time, he thought the house of God was supposed to be built with bricks and mortar. But what he didn't understand was ultimately the house of God was, the man Emmanuel, who was called the Christ. On some spiritual, everybody not spiritual. I get it. I definitely get it. Everybody not spiritual. A lot of people think that church is that building, but without the, people of faith inside of that building, it's just a building. That's why some churches, they rent it out for parties. They rent it out for, meetings and stuff, all types of stuff. Some people rent that building out for other things. It's only a church when the people of faith into the building. So a lot of people be thinking, these buildings and these temples are sacred, but it's really the people. That's a fact. That's a fact, Kara. Right, Pamela. Right. That's a fact. Only facts. Pastors are not evil, man. How can people not have spiritual awareness? You ever heard of the blind leading the blind? That's not really literally. It's not talking about actual people who can't see with the physical eye. They talk about, people who is not spiritually aware or don't have faith. The blind leading the blind. And that's what's going on now. But, like I said, I don't want to get into no, spiritual religion type of stuff, but at the end of the day, most churches are cults and government control. And that's what I'm trying to say, John. Those are not churches. They're just buildings. Those are not churches. And that's how you could get something twisted. You're making it, that's like an idol. You idolizing that building. We're not supposed to make graven images and, idol worship. So when you call that building a church, it's not a church if people of faith is not within it. It's just a building. It's just a big old idol. I think we're coming up. Nighttime. We are. Second. Man, right, Cara. There's a lot of man. It's so much stuff, it's so much stuff I try not to even get into because I'm not trying to. They told you you're not supposed to talk about politics, religion, and what else. But since it's been the president, the election, right, right. Salvation. Yes, yeah. Okay, Ming. I can't, man. Right, Revelations. The voice of LA. No, I didn't vote. The voice of LA. And that's what I'm talking about. The seven churches of Asia. That's not buildings they talking about. That's why I don't call those buildings churches. I don't call those buildings churches. The church is supposed to be the body of Christ. It's supposed to be the body of God. It's not a building. So I don't call those things churches. Some people call it the synagogue of Satan. But me personally, I don't call those things churches. We the church. But that's me personally. Oh no, I don't vote. The voice of LA. I don't vote. Now, like I said, if they was talking about some reparations, I'll jump right up and get down there and vote. But besides that, man, I'm not doing it. I appreciate you. The voice. I definitely had a good time. Yeah, Red Jones. I don't get caught up in all the politics and all that, to tell you the truth. We've been being promised things for so long. Like, y'all gotta come through on some of those promises for me to fun fact, my 16 was found. Bible studies out. Wow. Peace in the world. She was exiled. Wow. Wow. Condolences. That's deep. That's deep. From Bumbly, salute. All praises to the Most High. My Taurus sister. But yeah. You gotta stand up and make a difference. As people, a handout, wait, and beg. Okay, that's a fact. God bless a child that can hold their own. You know how that go. God bless a child that can hold their own. Okay, okay. See, you've been studying your lineage and all that. Yeah, I study my lineage too. I think we all should. I think we all should study our lineage. I think we all should study our lineage. You'll be surprised what you find. You'll be surprised what you find. I was shocked. Right? That's a fact. That's a fact. Sometimes it's stranger than fiction. It's stranger than fiction. That's a fact from Bumbly. But you know, the rich don't want that. The rich and the powerful don't want to be everybody to be equal. So you know how that's gonna go. 140 acres in a mule. So 40-ounce pit bull. And I hear that, Bobby Johnson. Be careful with the DNA test. They take your DNA. Not for good reasons. The global elite see us as bugs. Bugs, I think more like chattel or whatever you want. You know, we just here to work for them. You know, some people might call it slavery or servitude, but we here to work so they can live like kings and gods and whatever they believe, you know, they are. So they got to keep us distracted. They gotta, you know, give us a sense of purpose. So a lot of us, we you know, we think we living for one thing, but we really living to work for the, you know, the people who's in power, the powers that be, so they can live like kings and queens and gods and goddesses or whatever they imagine themselves to be. Right, chattel and cattle is the same. Yup. Yup. Well, you know, we're gonna head to the after show in a little while, but I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. This was a great conversation. This was a great conversation. Trump wins. Trump is our president for the second time. Right. But we still got stocks and bonds. You know, we was like livestock. They treated us like livestock and we was in bondage. So when I hear stocks and bonds, you know, humans used to be stocks and bonds. We used to be cargo and stuff like that. You know, they just changed up the words and, you know, the circumstances. But yeah, we was livestock and bondage, stocks and bonds. We still are, but they, you know, they get better and better at making us believe we free. That's why they got freedom. Freedom. We fighting for freedom. Well, we ain't free. I'm dead. That woke ish is dead. Big Trump, we back. Like we left it. Oh, I'm done.